As we get new details about the operation that killed Osama bin Laden, there's also new information about the way he lived and the family members who were hiding with him. CBS News correspondent Elizabeth Palmer is in Abbottabad, Pakistan, site of the compound where bin Laden lived and died. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning. Well, apparently after the Navy SEALs took away bin Laden's body, they left various members of the household and of bin Laden's family. And we now know that the Pakistanis have detained between 7 and 11, it's still not clear how many, mostly women and children. 4 of them apparently have been sent to hospital, having been injured in the raid, including one of the women who we think was bin Laden's wife, the one that was shot in the leg by the Navy SEALs. Every day, the local newspapers in Abbottabad print more details of the spectacular U.S. raid that killed Osama bin Laden in his hideout, which itself has turned into an infamous local tourist attraction. It's a fortress of a cement house flanked by modest homes. Behind these walls, bin Laden and his family lived possibly for years unobserved. Now that it's empty, everyone wants a look. Inside, there are clear signs of a battle and a passport believed to belong to one of bin Laden's wives. Outside, the walls are scorched, probably by the U.S. helicopter that was destroyed here. The house sits in a suburb just over a mile from one of Pakistan's largest military academies. 120,000 active or retired military personnel live in Abbottabad, and yet Pakistani officials say not one of them noticed when a 6'4" celebrity terrorist moved into town. American officials and some Pakistani observers say, frankly, that's hard to believe. Bin Laden's compound has now been searched and sealed. It may be bulldozed so it doesn't become a shrine to bin Laden or a monument to Pakistan's security incompetence. Now, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that the CIA may release photographic evidence of bin Laden's being dead. That will go over very well here because a lot of people, including sympathizers of bin Laden, simply still don't believe that he really has been killed. Chris?
CBS's Elizabeth Palmer in Abbottabad, Pakistan for us this morning. Elizabeth, thank you. Let's now bring in CBS News national security analyst Juan Zarate. Joins us now from Washington with more on the information found in bin Laden's hideout. Juan, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
So the SEALs, they grabbed personal computers, thumb drives, other evidence from the compound. What's the government, the U.S. government, looking to get from this information that was picked up?
Well, Chris, this was a real treasure trove. I think they found much more than they were anticipating. They had hard copies and files that they picked up, as well as electronic media, CD-ROMs, computers. So they're likely to be looking for names, addresses, phone numbers, maybe bank accounts, anything that gives a sense as to what bin Laden was doing, who he was in contact with, and in particular looking for attack cells and operatives in the West and also leads to other al-Qaeda leaders.
Is it safe to assume that al-Qaeda may feel that now that they have been compromised, any plans that they had made or any plans that were set in motion now need to be altered? I mean, what is their operating procedure?
Well, I think the concerns on the American side are that plans underway, attack planning perhaps against the West, will be accelerated now with operatives making a determination that now's the time to act, that there's no longer a chance to wait for orders from bin Laden or the hierarchy. But it's too soon to tell. I think folks, as they look through the documents and triage what they're finding, will make a determination as to what the threat looks like coming out of bin Laden.
Once the government does analyze everything, can the public expect to learn anything that they may have found along the way?
Well, that's a great question. I think we've been part of the story to date, but I think moving forward, counterterrorism officials see this as part of ongoing sensitive operations. So I don't think we can expect to get gross details about what they're finding. Although the story is so big, you don't quite know what will be leaked, but I think counterterrorism officials will want to use this as a moment to then go after other al-Qaeda leaders, other cell members, and really see this as part of an ongoing attack against the al-Qaeda network globally.
Let's talk about complicity for a second. If they have as much information in their possession right now, the U.S. troops that is, phone numbers, names, places, things, I have to assume there've got to be a number of people out there that are very nervous right now.
Well, I think that might be the case, Chris. When we talk about a support network for bin Laden, either in Pakistan or globally, there are going to be people, names, addresses associated with that. And so those who may have been part of a support network, either protecting him physically, providing him financial resources, or otherwise being in communication with him, must be worried at this moment that their names or numbers are appearing in some of these documents.
So many questions still to be answered. Juan Zarate, thanks. Good to talk with you this morning, as always.